Sajid Jajid has revoked his citizenship, the citizenship, sorry, of Shamima Begum. Has he got the legal framework to do that, do you think?
Yes, he does. But technically, it has been done. Over hundreds of people, they've had their citizenship revoked. But what we need to remember here is where we try this individual. So because the Islamic State was not a territory, we cannot try them where the crime was committed. If we offload that responsibility to Iraq or Syria, I think they've been through enough. Essentially, by not trying her in Britain, giving her to Bangladesh or giving her to another country, we are exporting our problems to somebody else. And actually, we've done this before. I'm sure you remember the ISIS Beatles, the jihadi men. We were on a big legal fight with the US trying to get them to try these individuals. So this is our problem. We have to face it. I am completely against this individual. I work in counter-terrorism. She's shown no sympathy, no remorse. I believe she deserves a very high and severe punishment. And I think the best place to do that and do it in a way that we can monitor her is in the United Kingdom. Because
you've said there should be a change in the treason laws and in order to be able to, so that we can prosecute someone like Shamima Begum, which I think most people will probably agree.
The biggest problem here is that our sentences are not long enough for terrorists. Tarina Shakil, who is a similar case to hers, and even Anjum Chaudhry, often individuals are let out halfway through their sentence. So by all means, make our laws harsher on terrorists, deter them from going, ensure that they are put under surveillance, they're put in jail for a long time. But just abdicating the responsibility, this is about crime, punishment and responsibility. I'm arguing she committed a crime for which she shows no remorse. She deserves a harsh punishment, but the responsibility is ours and we cannot offload that on another country.
I'm sorry, she is not my responsibility. She had her own responsibility. She chose to take herself out there. She tore up her sister's passport, which she'd stolen. She renounced citizenship of this country herself. And plus, what are we putting her on trial for?
For joining a terrorist organisation.
That's not a criminal offence at the moment in this country.
So we need to change that.
Yeah, but we haven't at the moment. So why do we need her back over here? We can't... In her words, she's just been a housewife for 4 years. A housewife that walked past beheaded bins full of heads and things like that, but she's just a housewife.
I don't think she's just a housewife. I think she joined a very dangerous terrorist organisation. We should punish her, and there will be many like that.
Isn't the difficulty that will she be able to be punished here? Will the law, if she were to return, will the law be strong enough in order to find a crime to punish her for?
We need to, at the very least, the fact that she joined a terrorist organisation, she aided and abetted a terrorist organisation, she was part of their propaganda efforts.
Do you know what? There will be lots of people who will think, hang on, she comes over here, she brings her child. Taxpayers' money will go on this woman for the rest of her life.
And my fear is, if we don't keep a watch on her, the alternative...
That's a good point, though, Dawn, isn't it? If she's here, at least we know what she's up to.
Do we? Do we? We can't...
Well, she will be now. She's one of the most famous women in Britain today.
So that's going to cost a lot of money. We can't afford to take care of the victims of the Manchester bombing. Those families are still suffering. One person's lost his business. He has said he's got no... His 8-year-old daughter was killed. This woman has no sympathy what happened in Manchester.
So look, I mean,
look, I'm not...
Under what law?
I'm not defending it, but if you look at the other side of the argument, that people can change and she could be of use. I'm sure there'll be people in intelligence services...
How much remorse has she actually shown?
Well, she has said she's asking for the country's forgiveness. She has said that. And I admit, her body language and everything else...
Only when she...
But it shouldn't be trial by media, should it? She should be put in a court and it should be trial by court.
I don't feel sympathy for her. I don't think anyone in the public should. But there's a due process. We should put her on trial. There are terrorism laws and terrorism acts for which we can ensure that she's put in prison for a very long time. The alternative is we leave her in a refugee camp where essentially she's been on the media every single day, that we will in some sense create this martyr complex on her, which a lot of people have already been talking about, and subsuming all these issues together. The fact that, you know, she was a child. She wasn't. She chose to get on this plane. She deserves punishment. My only point is that the punishment doing that in the UK will allow us to monitor her, will allow us to ensure her child doesn't become a threat. And she's not the only one. Today we found there are 12 more of these women.
And more to come. So Dawn, just hypothetically, if the laws were tighter, if the laws were there to protect us even more and to be able to punish, would you then be in favour of her coming here and she could be tried in a court?
If we had the laws, and I was confident in them, that her and the other 12 women with their children would come back and be put on trial and given a fair trial, and we had the proper punishment for them, then Yes.
I think
but
quite a lot of
we
people would agree
don't
there.
at the moment.
Yeah.
That's my worry.
Let me just tell you what some people are saying. It's a hugely emotive issue,
It's
isn't
very
it?
emotive.
And somebody on Twitter says, if Miss Begum is allowed back into the country and atrocities happen here due to her possible grooming of others, then the do-gooders who protested to get her back here will be held accountable for that. I mean, that's the sort of level of fear and worry and passion behind this decision. Somebody else says here, look, on Twitter, the whole thing is very sad, but the truth is she did leave. She shows no sign of contrition.
No.
She's full of radical and dangerous views. No matter where the fault lies, the Home Office have to protect the people who reside here. We pay for that protection, and we deserve that.
Firstly, I think there's nothing to stop her from broadcasting. I know Bangladesh has said no, but broadcasting from a refugee camp or galvanizing individuals, we've already given her so much FaceTime and you know, ensuring that people are listening to her. By putting her in a jail, we will be ensuring she doesn't have an audience and her grievances are given no credibility.
Our jails are a hotbed of radicalism, as they are at the moment.
And that's something we need to work on because this problem isn't going away. I mean, we're able to strip her citizenship, but there will be other people whose citizenships we can't strip. What do we do with them?
We change the law. If you choose to leave this country and destroy your passport, you choose to get rid of your own citizenship. If you go to Syria, you either stay in Syria, and I'm sorry she should stay in Syria and rot. And she's over there, she's spouting this filth. I know where she is, I know what she's saying. Over here, she's going to get lost in the system. We'll pay for a safe house, we'll probably pay for a new identity, as you say.
But don't,
it's
do you not
incredibly
think,
emotive.
I mean, in one way, if you take the emotion out of it, you bring someone back, you punish them, you can find out how on earth somebody who was born here could be radicalised in that way. Do we know, though? Because why does it keep happening? Is there not something that we need to learn? Because, as you say, she has a child. There is another generation being raised now.
Yeah,
and we need to know what is being said, why it is that...
We know what's being said. She's saying it on
surgeons, there are doctors who worked in the NHS who went to Syria.
Yeah,
why?
absolutely.
We need to know.
I don't... firstly, there have been hundreds of children like her who the British courts have successfully stopped from going to Syria. I think the problem here is not Syria's problem. I think we cannot offload our problem on Syria. They've been through enough. You know, and this is a problem of citizenship as well. In the Cold War, a lot of British people who spied for the Soviet Union lost their citizenship from the UK, but the Soviet Union then gave them citizenship. We cannot expect Syria or Libya or Iraq to give this individual citizenship. She is British. And I think the problem of stripping citizenship as well has caused a lot of immigrants, including myself, in my personal opinion, to feel quite uncomfortable because it isn't, it's a fundamental human right. And at what point do you become British? Is it that you're second generation, third generation British? Is that good enough? Or is there any time that if you commit a crime, agreed, I will never want to join a terrorist organization, but, you know, will you then be deported to another country? And that has caused a lot of people discomfort.
You are British. She is not British. She left this country.
But who defines what Britishness is?
She's revoked being British when she left to go to Syria.
But I'm a British values, but that doesn't, in legal terms, mean she's no longer British. I think that's the difference. We can all agree she revoked British values completely.
But in her individual case, I mean, Bangladesh, she's under the age of 21.
But what if she was a white convert from Halifax
who had no dual citizenship?
Her parents were born and bred in this country.
I don't care what colour her skin is, to be honest with you.
What would you say to her then? She can't go to Bangladesh then if she's...
No, but she should stay in Syria and we should sort the problem out there because we do not have the laws in this country to treat these people.
I agree.
We agree.
We have to develop them. We have to develop them, but we can't make it a serious problem.
Yeah, but I have to say, in terms of public feeling, you know, 80% more than the public will fully support revoking her citizenship and leaving her out there. They will agree with that.
I did say this earlier, and I will say it again, and I know it's uncomfortable for some people to hear and to comprehend, but as a British Asian, when you see stories like this, of course, like everybody else, I have no sympathy for her. And I want her to suffer the harshest punishment.
Of course.
Because what she did was an absolute disgrace.
Yes.
However, as a British Asian, what Sajid Jajid is saying, because I'm British Asian, because of where my father was born 80 years ago, there's a small chance I might not be British. This country, my father came here, same like Sajid Javid's father, came here for a better life, for a fairer life. This country says that even when you do something wrong, we are going to protect you in a court of law. Even when you do something wrong, most of us will abide by the law. What Sajid Jajid is saying, for people like me now, if you put a foot wrong, as serious as that, and look, you know, if you put a foot wrong, you could be seen as not being British.
I'm sorry,
that is a really dangerous precedent. That can be seen as being racist.
You're getting off the point. You're not going to go to a concert hall full of kids and blow yourself up.
No,
I don't think.
But I mean, OK, what happens if I'm a journalist, I'm a documentary maker, I go over to another part of the world, I might be confused, I might be mistaken. Now, I'll be lucky because I've got a bit of a profile. What about for normal people who travel?
There is no confusion in the cases of these women. And they are, by the way, the very last ones. They've waited until the ISIS state has fallen. And there are no choices for them.
And she's remorseful that her own 2 children have died, with no remorse for those whose children have died here.
She missed those terror attacks.
She's thinking of herself when she acts.
There are so many questions that need to be answered. Surely the best place to do that is in a court of law.
If we had the laws to do so, I would agree.
I agree.
And maybe that's where the argument needs to go, is that the laws need to be stronger and then we bring them back.
Yes.
Maybe that is the conclusion that both sides
at the moment, we don't have those laws.
would agree on.